Welcome back, everyone, to Merge Conflict, your weekly developer podcast, where I am still extremely upset with Frank Krueger. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, buddy, I don't like to hear that, but I can think of 1,000 reasons you'd be upset with me. Hi, James. Can I make you feel better?
I don't think so. I don't think today, because Frank, you and I have been friends for the last decade plus 5 years,
Yeah,
15 years.
I guess so. At least 400 something episodes.
I think it's been, it must be at least 15 years. Since I started at Xamarin, like 13 and a half years ago, about 14 years. I always looked up to you as someone that was like an archetype,
What is that?
holy writer of pristine code, an elite developer, a pragmatic programmer, somebody that knows UIKit to a T, inside and out.
Okay.
No matter what.
This is about one of my apps, isn't it? Okay.
Today, I've been dogfooding iCircuit, the app in which makes Frank all of his money in life. Frank, I'm highly upset at so many UI decisions that have been made in 2 areas. And I want to discuss them today and understand what's going on in this app. It's very upsetting in many ways. Frank Krueger, I want to know.
Okay, I'm willing to have this discussion, but let's preface it with everyone go out there and buy it anyway, no matter what you're about to hear. Oh boy, I'm afraid to find out how I disappointed you. But the truth is, I already know I disappointed you a little bit because I got a bug report from you over the weekend. I think, was it like a Saturday morning? I think you were testing my software like a good employee that doesn't get paid. Good job, James.
It's the least I could do. So the one good part about doing a lot of like AI development, I gotta get Heather into our Netflix. She's like, I got the email that says you're not in the household. Like, I'm on it. Confirm update. Is because I've been shipping more and more software. I go in and in to
Progress
my TestFlight application more and more and more. So much more, like all the time. Look at all those apps. See all those apps right there.
Yeah. And actually, most of my apps in TestFlight are your apps. So I like that we spam each other, basically.
Yes. And I don't get too many from you because, TestFlight is a broken system. It's completely broken for external developers. For internal, great. For external, it's not, if you're using like CI/CD, you can set it up where it will like automatically do a build, push it, assign it to you, and you can actually assign it to another external group. However, that app also needs to be reviewed. Sometimes it's Insta, sometimes it's not for some reason if you haven't done it in a while, which then leads to the problem is that you can't assign a build to a group if one is review, and you also can't unassign it to the group either. And it's completely broken. In fact, what happened today, Frank, to prove to the point of how broken, prove it right now. I'm proving it to you.
Go for it. You prove it. Prove it to me. All good apps, as we know, have a .1 release. It's just what happens. My app is especially good, so it's going to have a .2 release. That means I made 2 big mistakes in the last release that I'm trying to correct. We'll get into what those are, but one of them was reported to you, so I wanted to get a beta out to you with the fixes because I'm a good developer. So I put my app into TestFlight review because it's whenever you up the minor version. So as long as you don't change your version number, you'll get auto approved. So whenever you update your minor version, then you have to go through the review process again. And to your point, I was so sure that you were going to approve my TestFlight beta version that I just went ahead and submitted the real app to the real App Store review. Because I always do manual developer release. So if I'm not happy with the actual, if the beta is garbage, if the beta is blowing up on devices, then I can always developer reject and then resubmit later. But especially for bug fixes, I like to just get everything into the review queue right away. And I think the point you want me to make is my app was reviewed for the App Store, good for release within 1 hour. And it took, I think, about 10 hours for my TestFlight version to get not just reviewed, like the whole process was about 2 days, but like in review for 10 hours it sat there. Meanwhile, it took 1 hour for it to get approved for the App Store. I do not know what is going on behind the curtain at Apple, James. Not at all. Not one. I mean, we all know there's different reviewers out there. They all go by their own playbook, I guess. And so I always just chalk it up to that. But like, you would think, given how limited external testing is, that they'd just kind of approve the apps, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the most damage I'm going to do is to like 30 people out there.
And it's like, yeah, it's like these people signed up for it, right? They're installing it, XYZ. And especially in a situation like this, where it's like you added more testers or did anything, you know what I mean? It's like clearly there. Yeah. And on top of the point, it's also a broken system because I'm sitting here and I open the application, auto updates on, didn't auto update. I go to my Mac for my own application, Tiny Clips. I open it, I open it, auto updates on, didn't auto update. Sometimes I hit the update button and it's like, no, you already updated. I was like, what do you mean I already updated it? It says update right here. Just like fix the thing. You know, I'm just saying, I love the thing, but I hate the thing. Fix the thing. Yeah. Kind of like your app, Frank Krueger.
Oh, ouch. Okay. What a segue. James, do you have any critical feedback for me? Is that what I'm about to get for the next half hour? I hope everyone will run with me and enjoy this moment of being critiqued.
Problem 1.
Yes, sir.
1. Your top bar. Go give Frank $15 and then let's critique this together.
But thank you. Yes.
1, compliment. Let's kick it off with a compliment.
Ooh, thank you.
When you hit the search, it goes up. It was nice animation. Ooh, that's nice.
Compliment sandwich. So you have to end with a compliment too, you know. But thank you. I have to say that UI is baked in. Everyone use UI document browser. It's all set up for you.
You don't have to use that, but it's there. I did that in the travel app that I built. They built that in. I was like, oh, I worked on it. I was like, oh, that's nice.
Can I make a little complaint there? My God, I've been doing iOS development since iOS 2, and the way search bars integrate with the nav bar seems to change on every single version. It's totally maddening, honestly, dealing with that stupid search bar. But yeah.
Yep. That being said, your toolbar, it's very crowded. It's very crowded. It's got crowdiness all over. It's got a gear. It's got a gear. It's got a gallery. Gear, it's got the word gallery. Yeah. It's got a plus button and it's got a triple dot, which is nice. That's triple connect to us.
I'm not even aware of the triple dot.
You can select, connect to a server, do list, name, kind, sorting, view options. It's all your view options. It does very nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. So the gear is for settings. So I should say I'm using the UI document browser. Literally the only thing you're allowed to do is add toolbar buttons. So I fully admit it's getting crowded up there. And the gallery could probably be an icon. It's probably at that point where I could have an icon for that. It's tricky though. Like what is the iconography for a gallery?
Should be a tab. Should be a tab at the bottom.
Ideally. Can't do it.
Ideally.
Not gonna
Can't
happen.
do it. No, because everything is browser based, but no, it is a gallery. It could be like a document thingy. But yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
So you added gallery.
I'll work on an icon. I'll work on an icon for you.
It makes sense to be gallery. That's a hard one, right? Because also, like people need to know what it is, and they see an icon, it's like a little photo. You're like, oh, what is that, right?
Like, do you even know what gallery is? Like, it's tricky because, like, even the word I kept debating, but basically, it's user submitted circuits. So it's stuff other people have uploaded, you know. So I call that the iCircuit gallery, and gallery for short. Yeah, it's tricky.
It's a hard one. It's great functionality. That was the first thing I tested. I saw now here's the thing is, the gallery button worked because I pressed the gallery button. I was like, ooh, and I got it. And I literally didn't have to sign in, didn't have to do anything. You can hit gallery, you can browse around, click on one, download circuit.
Yeah.
And
No, works fine. No uh-ohs. Now what did
Click
I break,
another
James?
one. Did you break it? Download.
It's fine.
It's not downloading for me.
Great. Maybe I did break it in the beta. Thank you, beta tester.
All right, test that. Anyways, that did work in 0, in 1. That did work. How come that didn't work?
UI development's tricky. Yeah, there must be an error.
You click on
swallowed.
it. Yeah. Anyways, because you probably changed the logic of your UI pickers. Anyways, you click the thing. It worked for me before. So that's cool. That comes up from the bottom. That's nice. Right there, a little gallery. Like, that's nice. Comes up. You can see it's like, you can see the back button. It says back. It says gallery. Now let me continue on my rant and critique.
Yes.
Of said crowded toolbar.
Yeah.
See, no one can see this on YouTube, but if you have the app, you just want to scroll up, not down, up, and notice that it says iCircuit recents. But when you scroll up, it says iCircuit sloppy.
That's sloppy. Yeah, I agree. It's sloppy. I have an excuse. My excuse is that's Apple's UI. Sloppy Apple.
I don't know if you even need the word up there. I think you could live without it because it's in the bottom toolbar. I don't know if that's to code, but it's there.
But if I pitch to, I have no control of that.
I don't know, because if I go to browse, it's not there.
Yeah, it's just how it works.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a little weird. They put your bundle name up there. I'll look into getting rid of it.
Elite hacker, Frank Kruger. We're nameless.
It's always good to hack the Apple APIs. Yeah,
we have no names. Okay.
Yeah.
Now here is the real gripe.
Yeah.
Internet. You hit gallery.
The internet is terrible. I agree.
Look at that. You see how I can just look at that from the bottom, just up. It's beautiful.
It's nice, right? You approve of that, right?
Yeah. Now, ideally, the iCircuit gallery would be themed dark theme in our year of Lord AI. But digress. Okay.
I should say on an iPad, it comes up as a nice page sheet also.
Ooh.
Just saying.
I love that. I will say, if you do some of this development, like on Mac OS and like Mac, these things that are built in that you can just spice it up, it actually looks really good. Like when you're having the popovers and the thingies.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, that new button. It's like, did that animate in? Anyways, okay. The gear. I have a problem with the gear because it comes up. The gear, the gallery comes from the bottom. It comes from the bottom
because it's a page.
But the gear comes from the gear.
Now it's a popover on an iPhone.
It's a popover, but I'm on an iPhone. There are no popovers. Popovers don't exist on the iPhone.
Right.
This is the bane of your existence. Okay. So this is fine. This is a UI table view. This is a beautiful. This is a monotouch dialog.
It isn't, but it basically is.
This is a monotouch dialog.
Worse than that, it's from a library I wrote called Preclarum Forms.
Oh my God.
Anyone can use it out there.
That's great. It's very touchy. Okay. So I, like a good tester, was like, oh, maybe I should have an iCircuit account. That'd be kind of cool. So what did I do? I said, sign into gallery on this thing, signed in, boom, went away. It flew back. The window flew back to the gears. Like, I'm out of here. Yeah. And I told you, I said, it's broken, Frank.
Yeah.
So let's start there.
And James, let's actually be informative, or should I not interrupt your critique?
No.
Why does it go to the gear? Because when you choose a modal presentation style of popover, you get to tell it what view generated the popover. So in that case, I'm able to say it's the gear icon that generated the popover. So that's why the system knows how to animate to and from the gear icon.
I don't want it to animate from the gear. I don't want it to animate.
You do not want it. Okay.
Navigate, Frank.
Yeah.
No, what other app does that? No other app does that.
It looks good on the iPad right because so the problem is your classic modal sheet dialogues are form sheet, page sheet, popover. There's a few new ones, but let's ignore those. They don't count.
Yeah.
And page sheet, form sheet, the big difference is it top to bottom or does it get margins at the top or bottom on an iPad? This is all iPad kind of stuff. So the gallery that you were mentioning that comes up from the bottom is a page sheet. So it works the way that you want it. And this whole sheet system was revised in what was it, like iOS 8 or 9 or something like that. Yeah. They got kind of crazy with the sheets. The problem is because the settings, this is excuses, I get it. You're giving me good user feedback and I'm just handing you developer excuses. The settings, because it's a table view, it looks terrible in my opinion when it's all wide as a page sheet. But maybe I should get over myself because in this modern world of people shipping basically iOS apps on Mac, and it's just a thing. So those big table view rows, those bordered and background filled rows, they can be wide. I get it. It's not just 320 pixels anymore. We're not living in that era anymore. But I still prefer it when the table views are narrow, not wide. And so that's why even on the phone, I still put it in a popover. And the popover is anchored to the gear icon, and that's why you get all the animations from the gear. See, I thought you would like the animation to the gear. That's a subtlety. That's a nicety. You don't like it though. Dang.
The thing is, and the reason I don't like it is because on an iPad, I love it because it's going to be that nice popover. It's going to be like there. On an iPhone, it actually just displays as a modal. And you can actually see, and it scrunches down. It's like a weird scrunchy.
Sheet system 2.0.
Yeah. And so it's a very touchy sheet. So for example, here, it's very touchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, see, I didn't even touch anything. It's very touchy. No good. Okay. It's very touchy. So what Frank would have to do to appease me is he'd have to either change it to be a modal, kind of how he has the gallery. That's an option. And then that'd be a modal. That'd be beautiful. It wouldn't be as nice though, but it'd be something. I do think on an iPad, this also looks very good, by the way. So like the app is very optimized for iPad. So I'm just on my iPhone because I don't have an iPad. So that's my bad.
Just but, my user base. I mean, I do look at user statistics. So as much as I love the iPad and I think the app shines on iPad, I have a lot of phone users. So I do have to make sure it works nicely and behaves nicely on phone.
So what happened? So let's talk about what happened here on the sign-in with gallery. Because it wasn't just a sign-in gallery. What ended up happening is I also was like, online resources, iCircuit manual. Nothing happened. Other buttons. Basically, I was like, I feel like, and my first inclination was this windowing system. I was like, you know what? You got fancy on the iPad and you messed up the window and you're trying to open a new window, but there's no parent. So it can't find the parent. So null exception, you swallowed it and boom, it went away. That was my assumption, but I don't think I was correct.
You weren't correct, but I assumed the same thing. We think alike, James. I'm like, oh God, the view controllers, popovers, emulating on the phone. I thought the exact same thing as you. Because to be 100% honest, I wrote that settings dialog 15 years ago, and it uses APIs that I really just don't think that much about. But the iCircuit manual is important, especially for new customers, and there's a few other links on there. I know the email button works because I still get lots of feedback from users. Thank you, everyone.
That one did work. I tested it. That one did work. Because that one's that's the I'm assuming that's using like the built-in mail dialogue-y thingy. There's an API for it that's sending the mail.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 2 lines.
Yeah, it's real easy to merge into, and that API has been there forever.
And now that API is very fascinating too, because I use this API as well, and I really like it. But it only opens the mail app. If people are using Gmail and that's the default, it will not, and they don't use the mail app, it will not. Right? Yeah. It'll throw an exception.
I thought the opposite. Dang. Okay.
No, it only opens the mail app. It'll throw an exception if you don't have it. Ask me how I know.
And how would someone send you a bug report? They can't email you.
Exactly.
Well, doesn't this always get down to like, it's the worst? Developer devices are the worst. Like, now what? Do I have to set up Gmail as my default email? I don't want Gmail as my default email, so I have to add that to my test plan, I guess. I'll investigate that. I thought it was smarter than that, so it won't open, for example, Gmail.
No, it'll just I think it throws an exception. And then so what I do is I swallow the exception, and then I pop up sorry, email me directly at this email.
Well, I will add that to the bug report. Thank you very much. So no, what was happening is quite different from all that. So the iCircuit manual is a web page that I bring people to. I actually used to, the macOS version of the app ships with the manual integrated as a bundled HTML thing, because Mac has a really nice help system. And it's actually pretty easy to compile everything into a help file, as the Windows people would know it. Mac has an equivalent to that. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, really not bad.
Cool.
On iOS, however, I just take people.
This is built in?
Yeah, forever.
Wow.
Basically since Next Step, as far as I know. Like, this is classic Mac stuff. So if you're writing a proper Mac app out there, I highly recommend doing a proper help page. It's totally worth it. You can just throw all your HTML into a little help bundle, and there's even a help indexing app that'll create like search terms and everything, so that the help menu bar integrates, integrates with your help system. It's really quite good, honestly. I think it's really so. But iOS has none of that. That's one of the AppKit things that never made it to iOS. So in that case, I just open a web page. And now it's time for me to give you the excuse for why it wasn't working. In general, I do not like... I have a naughty term for these, but I hate app built-in browsers because they're never full-featured. Oftentimes, they don't share credentials. They just they're just a terrible browsing experience. And because I have that bias, I basically kick people out of the app and open up real Safari. This isn't so bad because it's, Apple added the little back button thing in the top left and everything. So I bounce you over, Safari, whatever your default web browser is. And the manual opens, and if you want to go back, it's pretty easy. I think most people know how to get back to an app. I'll agree with you. It's not perfect because I know what your next complaint is going to be. But allow me to finish what the bug was. So forever, since iOS 2, UI application has been able to open a URL. OpenURL. It's a perfect API.
Open it up.
You give it a URL, right, it opens it.
It is good. It's in the name. It's in the name, people.
And it's actually surprising. So you can do in-app URLs also. So it'll delegate off if you've registered different schemes for different apps and things like that. So everyone knows OpenURL. Everyone loves OpenURL. James, did you know OpenURL no longer works in iOS 26?
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Yeah, so it's been deprecated for a while. I believe in iOS 10 it was deprecated. So we'll just call that 8 years. I don't know what the actual number is, but roughly speaking, it's been deprecated for 8 years.
Oof.
But like all Apple deprecations, it's a little boy crying wolf. Apple deprecates everything, removes nothing. This is what I have learned over my million years of writing iOS apps. And that's all totally true unless you start compiling with the new iOS 26 SDK, which is what I just started doing with my app. So if you compile with the old SDK, they run a little shim layer and OpenURL still works. James, but if you compile with the iOS 26 Do you think that they perhaps removed that API? No. What they did instead was they made the API do nothing. It's still there. You still compile against it.
The click works. The click works. So that makes sense.
The click works. Yeah. Absolutely no error is brought up. No error is logged in the console app. In fact, in Apple's documentation, they say, hey, this API is here, but it does nothing. Goes nowhere, does nothing. This has got to be the worst form of deprecation I have ever run into. Now, I should be clear with my... iCircuit is still compatible with iOS 12. So I have no excuse. I really should have upgraded to the new API. But, there's bigger fish to fry out there than chasing what Apple engineers think you should be using as an API. And it's always just been stable. I fully admit I do not thoroughly test the settings dialog on every release because you just assume that API called OpenURL is going to open the stupid URL. This isn't rocket science. Open the URL, Apple. Please, just open it. Well, it no longer opens URLs, so that bug got through, and you were kind enough to report it to me. It was so funny, though, because, I'm looking through all the error logs. I'm like, there is no error being generated anywhere. What is going on? I had to lower myself and read the docs.
It's funny too because OpenURL has been deprecated for a while. However, OpenURL is still not deprecated. That still works. And so the funny part is instead of opening OpenURL, the actual API is just open. So and then you give it a URL. Silly. And then a few other options where you have external and you can do SF Safari View and all these other ones, right?
Right. So I should tell everyone. So there's still an OpenURL, but there's an overload for it now. There's OpenURL that takes a URL, a set of options, and a callback function.
Yep.
2 parameters you don't need at all because you're just opening a URL, but there they are, and you have to use them.
Got to use it. Open it up. Nope, not allowed to. No, that's a good one because we've talked about on this podcast how, APIs. I mean, this is my fear of StoreKit, right? StoreKit. That's why I stopped doing because I'm like, it's going to stop working eventually, and then I don't know what to do.
Silently, from what I've learned.
Silently, yeah, it's just gone. So. That's a pretty good one. Okay, that's good. Okay, cool. I'm glad you found it.
Okay, so I think, and then maybe before the show, I'm just going to jump straight to your second criticism. You said, why jump out of the app at all? So I should say there are alternatives now. I believe Safari Kit, not WebKit, has more of a full-blown browser that you can use in the app, and it actually does share cookies with the real browser and all that stuff, assuming you use Safari, though, I think, on all your other stuff. So I probably could do an in-app browser. And in fact, I remember even starting a project to improve the help system on here and basically building in an in-app browser. And hilariously enough, I do have an in-app browser for the circuit gallery. So when you hit gallery, it's bringing up my in-app browser. And it's not very good, to be thoroughly honest, because it's an in-app browser and they're all terrible. But I can probably move a bunch of those over to Safari Kit because I think they have a better one.
It is, yeah, because I would say there's pros and cons of this. And I almost oddly... You may have convinced me to not, but I think you could make it an option. Funnily enough, where do you?
The worst? No, yeah.
Because here's the benefit of opening it in another browser is that I could go back and forth between documentation and my circuit, and I could be on different pages. The problem with the in-app. So I think you're actually doing it correct. But by the way,
the problem with the we get? Did everyone get that? Yeah. Everyone clip that. So that is your ringtone. Thank you.
Yeah. Now maybe suggest an improvement should be in app and not maybe jump me out. That seems a little bit. You want to keep people in the app.
Yeah.
I agree. terms in EULA, maybe that's not completely necessary to jump me out of the application. Now, the iCircuit manual, I do think would make sense to jump outside because I might want to flip back and forth between the app, back and forth.
Yeah. And on iPad actually has multi-windowing support, so it is nice. Now you can finally put two apps side by side. Yeah.
Unless you were to actually make it super integrated. And what I mean by that is like you would like store the user's nav state as they're navving around, and then when I'm on a circuit, so let's say I create a new circuit and I go to the gear down there, which is also different, then maybe there's a manual button, and then it would open it so I could see the manual in real time, like in the application, but I'd have to remember where I'm at, right? So imagine having a manual that I can flip around anytime, kind of like on the Mac, right? It's a different window.
Yeah. There is multi-scene support, so technically I could have a documentation scene. But those get a little bit funky too, because technically every scene in your app should be able to get you back to the root scene of your app. So basically I'd be opening a whole second window of the app that just happens to have a full screen help system in it. I think help has always been a little bit hard in apps, to be honest.
I feel like it. But an app like yours does need like that sort of, polish. Documentation. It's pretty advanced. I mean, it's a very advanced app in general. So I actually don't have too much else. One, when you hit the new button, it does a nice little animation thing.
You're okay with my sign in and sign out buttons on? I was mentally preparing myself for you hating those, because I do have signing in and signing out of the gallery so that you can upload to the gallery. Yep. For that, I make you have a user account. You can download anytime.
That one pops up in the app because you have to.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I thought you were going to complain. Sorry, I thought you were going to complain because it pops up the Apple dialog box of, are you sure you want to go to iCircuit.com too?
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm used to that. So I think you pop that up. The bug is when you go to sign in and then you don't sign in. It's like, you're now signed out. I never signed in, Frank. I never signed in. Come on.
Written down, noted and approved. I'll admit, I ran into that myself. And I was like, I should fix that. And then I didn't fix it because this is proper developer excuse. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Preclarum forms can't refresh the form page. So I really need to close that page to refresh the UI. Oh, it's so embarrassing. The corners we paint ourselves into. This is, can we just name this episode Frank's Embarrassment? I do want to earn your respect back. I do value polished apps, and I'm going to developer reject this because I agree with you. I was taking a shortcut by leaving that dialogue as it was, closing the settings because it's just easier. It's just easier. How many criminal activities have occurred because someone said it's just easier? I don't want to contribute to that.
And like none of these little things, like no one's gonna like stop using your app because of the things that I pointed out. I call this the Hansel flexion point, because I worked for Scott Hanselman for so long, and Scott is like meticulous with details. I would like create like this stunning app or website and like this and that, and like, check out this thing I made, this demo, and he's like, fave icons blank.
Did you even try?
Yeah. It's like, did you there's like some weird padding over here. He'd be like, point out the most. It would be, and I unfortunately have adopted, because I've worked for him for so long, and he pointed out all of my failures over and over and over again. These little tiny micro cuts. But what it made me end up doing is like doing what I'm doing now, and I think about the user flow, the little things that people don't think matter, but actually kind of do matter, because it's the polish, right? Especially people are going in. Also, I'll say why this dialogue is important. It's the one dialogue that you can give Frank extra money.
Oh, right.
By the way,
very important.
For iCircuit Pro.
Yeah.
It's the one area. People have a bad experience, they're out.
Gotta look good.
Can I long press? Ooh, I can. Delete. Ooh, it doesn't ask me if I want to delete.
I 100% agree with the Hanselman inflection point, whatever you called it there. It's actually what drew me to Mac apps in the first place. I felt like Mac apps and Mac developers in particular did spend a lot of time on this refinement and this polish stage. And it's what's drawn me to the platform. It's what drew me to being a Mac developer myself and wanting to create that kind of polished software. So basically what I'm saying is your criticism's hitting me straight in the heart. Nice. And I can't really, I'm not going to hide. I'm just going to be like, yeah, you're right. Thanks for the call out because it's important. And honestly, this is what I find frustrating about, because we have to make every episode about AI. This is what I find frustrating about AI user interfaces is they often lack this kind of polish. And if I'm going to still live in a world of making artisanal software with my artisanal hands, then I need to keep the quality standards high.
I 100% agree. I have been working on this tiny clips manager, Pro Deluxe version, and it is polish. It's little tiny things, and it's some things that it can't know. I actually spent a lot of time recently with having it understand Retina displays and 2xing what to actually save it at.
Simple, right?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. So I spent a lot of time, fix a lot of stuff there, but then it got a lot of things close because it's a pretty complex UI. It has to, it automatically resizes. There's list views, there's icons, there's hoverovers, there's favoriting. And it's
tricky because you're not just dealing with user interface elements, you're dealing with media resources. And there's a million ways to deal with media resources when it comes to scaling, because there's metadata, there's the actual resolution of the thing, there's the encoded resolution versus the display resolution. Like, I know the pain you're feeling, and I'm just going to say you better get it right, buddy, or I'm just going to reject that beta.
Well, yeah, I guess I'll doubly check the tiny clips. Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one. And I've spent the most time, because most of tiny clips didn't really have a UI. However, the one thing I recently found out is, the nice little slidey to the left UI, the little slidey thing.
Yeah. It used to be called the sidebar. I mean, it's still called the sidebar. It used to have a cute name. I forgot. The drawer.
The UI split view controller thingy.
That's what we use now. There used to be a thing called the drawer, and now you do a split view. You put a table view or an outline view in it, and you give it the sidebar background style, and then you get all the niceties that you want.
And the problem is that if you're not using a UI scene view kit thingy, it doesn't work how you want it to work. You have to actually use the scene and all this stuff. So I had to, again, there's all these little things,
you can do it in code. It's just hard because they don't document very well how to make all that stuff light up. And in particular in iOS 26, like, toolbars changed. The documentation doesn't say it. The HIG didn't change, but I'll tell you what, I struggled with that toolbar because I still support Mac. I go back pretty far. I mean, it's why I wrote Clean Room, so I could test some old versions of Mac, and making sure that my new toolbar looked great on iOS 26 and looked good on, I think, macOS 12, something like that. It's tough, and Apple does not document any of that stuff because A, they've moved everyone over to Swift UI and they totally pretend AppKit doesn't exist anymore. B, they keep changing how AppKit works, so it's impossible to keep up with how AppKit changes.
It's true. Yeah. I've been struggling, and it's been one of those things where I got a lot of stuff down, and it's really that polish. So I'm just, mostly agreeing with you. It's like really just that polish at the end of the day, right? That is so important to really get correct for your users, or else you get a butt like me that's like critiquing you, right? The AI doesn't have me to be a critique, because I am the critique. I got to code it, right? I got to really nurse the thing to get it right. I mean, it's good, but it's not 100% right. And we can make mistakes too. We're not like all user experience experts, but also sometimes you just got to ship the code. Just got to ship the code.
Well, especially when there's a glaring bug. So the glaring bug right now is you cannot log into the circuit gallery and you cannot open the manual. Those are pretty big bugs, in my opinion. So that's why I was pushing to get the app review done quickly, because I do want to just kind of push this thing out. So now I have to make the debate tonight of whether to push out a .2 and then prepare a .3, which has the James refinements, or just take another swing at hopefully app review going quickly and get those refinements in.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you've ever been in a situation like this where you had a dear, good friend that loves you so much that they tell you to your face, I hate everything about your application.
You are a bad developer.
Fix it for me, even though I'm not going to use your app. Let us know. I mean, I think it's super fascinating because while I just critiqued, Frank's app pretty, complicatedly, just like one screen, two screens, like this is what I've been doing. Because to your point, I want my AI to be better. I want to be better. I want it to craft those screens like I want it to, right? And also, I have my own expectations of how good I want my apps to be, and it better be as good as if I was hand coding it. Artisanal gelato. It's an UI, right? It's good.
I always complain online that the AIs are not good at user interface, and someone's like, well, just write up a user interface markdown file describing all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I just need to summarize 30 years of user interface lessons that I've learned into a markdown file that doesn't completely obliterate your context window. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Maybe. No, it's impossible. Like it's 30 years of experience of using software, having opinions, and building taste and quality standards. So it tragically hurts me in the heart that I miss my quality standards. I will hit those, James. We will up the qualities.
Well, I'm looking forward to that update. Go get that update, because by the time you listen to this, Frank will have a beautiful refreshed user interface for iCircuit. So go to iCircuitapp.com, iCircuit.com.
iCircuitapp.com. Yeah.
iCircuitapp.com. Couldn't get iCircuit.app because that domain didn't exist 15 years ago. That's going to do it for this merge conflict. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're at MVP Summit, maybe I'll see you there, because I'll be at the MVP Summit when this comes out, and the MVP Summit's upcoming. And then else, maybe I'll see you at Build. Go to build.microsoft.com. Registration's open. Check that out. What's his name? Peter's going to be there. The Claude guy.
Ooh,
the Claude
Open
Claw guy. Peter Steinberger. I swear I met him in person somewhere. It's Peter Steinberger.
Sweet. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So check it out, people. Opportunities are abound. It's in San Francisco.
That's far away. That's in the Sunshine State.
It is. Got to get those airline miles. All right. I'm going to go eat some pizza. All right, everyone. Have a great night. That's going to do it for this week's Merge Conflict. So until next time, now I'm James Montemagno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.